Now we're going on with Try to Remember. Lesson 1, we just learned it. Left-hand chords, right-hand melody. You also want to make sure you can play left-hand root, right-hand chords, because you'll start getting the chords in your right hand. So now we're going to talk about arranging possibilities. We want to make it not sound so left-hand chord, right-hand melody. So in page 2 on your Learn and Arrange from Lead sheet says arranging possibilities. You can play just a root in the left hand, or a root in fifth. You can do a root in an octave. You can do shell sevenths. You can do triads, but that's a little boring. We don't want to do that. We could do a ballad bass. And a ballad bass is just really nice. You just play root, fifth, third. If you're in 4/4 time, you'd go root, fifth, third, fifth. But this is 3/4, so you just go. Really nicely. You can do kind of a waltz sort of thing, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's where you need to work at your voicing there. Now we're going to talk about what you can do in the right hand. The first thing, of course, you can do the single note melody with whatever bass you want to use. But one of the greatest and easiest things to do is to start putting a third or a sixth under the melody. So if I put a third under the melody, and I'm just going to play roots here. I don't care what it is, I just put a third below. In this section you can still do thirds, but this one works a little bit better. And you get some variety if you do sixth. Okay, and of course you can put that with your or 6. You can voice the chord. You can figure out exactly what are the chords. G major 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, D9, G, here, you do your circle of fifths voicing where you drop the bottom 2, then the top 2, bottom 2, etc. Then you can, one of my favorite things to do, which is not written in this assignment sheet, is, well, no, yes it is, okay. You can do first inversion triads. Now that means you take the melody note and you put a first inversion shape under it. You don't care what the chord is. This chord is B minor, but we don't care. We're just going to put first inversion. That didn't work right there, so you're going to have to change some of them. Or you can put a second inversion, but that's too boring there. Works there, okay. That's too boring. So you just fiddle with those different shapes. Squashes are one of my absolute favorite things. You just take your hand and whatever the melody note is, you go either 2, 3, 5 or 2, 4, 5, depending on which works. So here's 2, 3, 5. that works really well. If you put that with there on the page, see where you've got different shapes? You have, here's a melody note. You've got a first inversion shape under it, or a second inversion. Or you put the two together. We call it a block chord, or I call it a George chord, because George Shearing was famous for developing that block chord sound. And then you can have a triad on the bottom, with a step up here. You can have a triad on the top, with a step right there. And then, of course, you can do the squash. But if you take those shapes, one of them is going to work. So the George works fine there, or so does that. That one actually sort of does, but here's the triad on the top. Here's a George. Here's a triad on the top. Here's a triad on the top. Getting back to just knowing what the chord is. So with all of those different things, you can start just making a very simple arrangement. Oh, and I mustn't forget, open voicing. Okay, split voicing so you can get some wider sounds. There's two basic open voicings that I really just love. One is 1, 5, 7, 3. So whatever. That's what I call the small open voicing. And the big one is 1, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3. And you work whatever of that fits. So I could go, yeah, here's 1, 5, 7, 3. Here's the little one again. 1, 5, 7, 3. Here's a 1, 5, 7, 3. And here's a nice 1, 5, 7, 3 with the melody on top. And here's a big one. 1, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3. Here's a 1, 5, 7, 3. But you could also do that to get a ninth. Then here's a big fat one where you just actually have to, and the F sharp's not even in there. But this works really nicely. Wide voicing, 1, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3. 5, 7, 3. Big one. 1, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3. So you can start just mixing those things. So I'm just going to play the whole thing if I can remember it. So there we've got sort of a mixture, and I only just thought today, for the first time, of putting the squashes in the left hand. Or, and that works very, very well. So with those simple things, you get an arrangement out of your memorized tune. It's a 1, 6, 2, 5 and circle of fifths tune.